is this? Hello, Dicka. Was that Dicka's house? Hello, 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 all my YouTube family, all of my TikTok family that I have here today on this live stream. Again, I'm just coming here talking about all things hoodoo, talking about the science of hoodoo, anything that'll help you on your practice that I can share here and be open here about. I would definitely share it here with you. Today we're going to have an interesting topic. We're going to talk about, and we probably won't be here that long. But if you have any questions, anything to add, please do. Um, so today we're going to be talking about road openings and altars because we just got through covering it again over there on Patreon, and you'll see I will repeat certain things just to keep it in the loop because we have so many resources. And I'll talk about the subject again, probably in short, or provide you for more resources on it when you see me talking about it again on the platform. But we have definitely, again, we have covered road openers. Probably need to go back to road openers again, and I post something else on it. But we definitely talking about road openers over there and how to do a road opener properly before you jump on that road opener. Kind of looking at what is really going on before you do the road opening. That's important too, knowing what type of road opening to do. And then we talked about too, and we did here too, but we're going to talk about it again. The most important faculty of your magic in your workings is going to be a healthy mind. And of course, we talk about that even more when we do the shadow work in our newest tier, know thyself. So that's an interesting course. We break it all the way down, who the holistic um, components of hoodoo when you get in there. So if you're a root worker and you're really trying to use hoodoo in a holistic way to heal, I think that's an excellent course because we really go over the importance of mental health and how mental health can lead, if you're not mentally healthy, how it impacts the body and gives you a variety of ways to treat the body holistically when this happens. So you really start to understand blocks. You really start to understand the mind and more about yourself when you get in that know thyself membership. I just love it because by the time you leave out of that membership, you're gonna almost be functioning like a therapist or a counselor. Um, Especially when I dived in that work, it really felt shamanic because you really get the chance to look at your inner demons, uh, and then you get a chance to peep in to the consciousness collectively. So just a really good course, um, a really good way to deal with intergenerational trauma as well, because a lot of us, again, among the African diaspora, experience. We still carry intergenerational trauma, and we help you understand that over there. Hi, April. Hi, Desert C. Hi, Official Tina. Hello, all my TikTok live stream family. Hello, all my YouTube live stream family. Hello, hello, Kia. Hello. But you really get a chance to address intergenerational trauma in that membership and really see it play out in your family. See how you inherited it. Very hard work, heavy work, and sacred work at the same time. That's where the real level up and shift happens when you start doing that type of work and looking at things. I love it because people really get a chance to put the connections together. And hoodoo, you see, it has more meaningfulness and sacredness once you understand the intergenerational trauma that was passed on to us and why it is closed. You really understand why it's closed. And over there, when you understand why it's closed, you keep it closed. So just a really good membership, the way I break down everything, intergenerational trauma, and then doing the healing using hoodoo to heal it. Because that's what I did. I used hoodoo to heal, and still using it today. I use hoodoo to heal intergenerational trauma. And I know people are telling you, "Oh, it's magic, is this, is that." It's so much more. It's so much more. It's so much more than what people are saying. Okay. It's a whole science over here because it can be used in a variety of ways. It can really be used to fix your life, balance your life once you get in alignment. Okay. And it is not Christian. I know you've seen that there, and we're getting ready to break that down even more because we're going into another aspect of hoodoo that doesn't use the for people, because it's people that practice hoodoo and don't use the Bible, don't feel comfortable with practicing the Bible. So they have other words of power. They're very good at invocation or poems or something like that. But we're getting into that in these next few lectures that's coming up. Um, we're also, yeah, getting in words of power, the real conjure behind that. Okay, so and then in our conjure tier, conjure membership, we're really diving into conjure, looking at different um, ways to conjures and what other allies or deities are available to us when it comes to conjuring or calling on other energies. So that's going to be interesting as we go through that. So we learn a variety of things over there in hoodoo. Hoodoo has so many components to it. It was just do it injustice. To just shrink it down to just spells. It's just more than that. It just absolutely is more. I know people are telling you it's just magic and all that, but I guarantee you, if you go to our platform over there, you'll see, you'll start understand it's way more than that. Okay, the root workers heal. You had people conjuring, knowing how to work with natural elements, but also too you get back in sync with nature. So it's so much more than what people are saying and what they're describing. Some people, it is not Christian, although we do use the Psalms, but there's some people that practice hoodoo that don't use the Bible. So like I said, we look at both aspects and from different perspectives. Okay, because I know that people learn from different perspectives uh, and breaking down the information. So uh, that is the way, I share it, and then I let you again grasp your own comprehension and understanding on it. But what the most important thing is important for you to understand that is it is ancestral. So you're definitely going to be doing the ancestors work, and again, right with the ancestors work, I give you shadow work information. Okay. But let's dive into road opener and what we think road opener is. And that's one of the popular things in hoodoo that people get in here and they think, oh, I need to do a road opener. I'm not getting this job. My life ain't going right. You know, again, I think it's important to pin down what kind of a road opener that you need. It's not one road opener is not one size fit all. It is absolutely not. And what road opening work is, okay? What it really entails when you're doing road opening work. Because we work over here in Hoodoo. Hoodoo works because there is a scientific method in moving your work along. If you do the work, you will see the shift. That's simple. Okay, it's that simple. Living testimony, see it every day. Okay, if you do the shift, but again, Your mind has got to be right as well. So again, what happens with the road opener before you even do a road opener, and I think a lot of people miss that, is the preparation work and doing the blockbuster. Automatically, when you if you're thinking about doing a road opener work, do a blockbuster first. Okay, you want to just get whatever is that out the way. The blockbuster, you really during the time that you're doing the blockbuster, you want to see any type of obstacles within yourself uh that's in the way, or any obstacles physically that's in the way, and how to start removing those obstacles and doing the work. Any type of prayer work or Psalms work you want to include in there, start doing the work. Now, this might require you to maybe fast or get up in the morning. Hoodoo is work. No, we're just not going to burn that little fancy candle and walk away. No, we're not doing that. I'm dropping gems right here if you would just understand the science. Okay, we do blockbuster work. We say, hey, what is in with me that's blocking? What is outside that's blocking? What can I do? How can I shift my mind to start dealing with some of these blocks? And once you start doing that and praying about the blocks, you will start to see, once you start addressing whether it is physical and internal, once you start addressing it and doing the prayer work, those blocks will start shifting more smoothly for you before you do the road opening work. Is this making sense? Because sometimes you have to do road opening work in this kind of work in layers. You may have to bathe on top of whatever your ancestors guide you to do, but doing a bath on top of it is really good. Um, Doing any type of again, inner work, ancestors work on top of that is really good. Fasting moves it along and gives you breakthroughs. Now, I know a lot of people look at fasting like I'd have to do it all day. Again, change your perception of how you're looking at fasting. You might want to fast until lunch. You probably want to fast into dinner. Maybe you want to fast, do a lunch fast, a breakfast fast. Okay, it all depends on you. But the work needs to be put in so you can move the work along. Is this making sense to you? And then knowing what type of road opener work that you're trying to do. What type of breakthrough that you need to have, because that's what road opener is about. It's about a breakthrough. It's about a breakthrough. What type of breakthrough do you need to have? What's going on in your life? Okay, so you have a variety of road openers. Did anyone know that it was a variety of road openers, or did you think it was just one? I want to see your feedback on here. Hello, TikTok family. Hello, hello, hello. Hello, live, my YouTube family. Hello, Tiffany. Hello, Vonity. Hello, Smith. Hello, Virtuous. Crystal. Hello, hello, hello. Everyone in the TikTok. I don't know if my TikTok acting up or not, but not getting any hits on the TikTok. But we'll keep going, moving forward. So there, and I probably talked about this before, but I'm gonna talk about it again. Okay, so maybe somebody wasn't here and I talked about it, but there's different sort of road openers that we have. Okay. And the first thing we do before we do anything, we bathe. We're going to make sure we prepare our mind, our bodies before we start doing the work. Remove any residual energy. Okay. And that's what road opener can do. Now, if you're doing, say you're having problems finding a job, or just success, having a run of bad luck, so to speak. It's just blocked right there. So again, you would do a regular road opener. That, I think, that is the most common that people use. That you would use the regular road opener and prepare yourself for that road opener work before you do a blockbuster. Because what I find, we do a road opener And then we start having these problems and blocks that come up because we didn't do the blockbuster. What the blockbuster do is kind of clear the road, help you see any obstacles going along, and then prepare for it and run through there. And you're gonna have the breakthrough. That's what. Hello, Tony. Um, that is what that's what a blockbuster does and a road opener does. So they should be done in conjunction. So if you're thinking about a road opener at all, um, again, think blockbuster too. Think blockbuster too. Just go ahead and naturally do it. Hello, Raekwon Jackson. Hello, Supreme Rising Queen Anthony. Uh, just think blockbuster too. Don't don't do it. Don't do a road opener without a blockbuster. I'm just gonna save you a lot of problems. So you don't have to go back and do it all over again. You can already prepare yourself for the road opener. It'll be successful if you do the blockbuster, working from a good foundation. So any road opener that you do it, go ahead and pair a blockbuster with it to help you along the way. I wish more practitioners would say that they'll show you a road opener, and then you miss the blockbuster. Then you have to go all back over again and do the work again because you didn't do a blockbuster. You didn't know if it was blocks in there. That's why the road wasn't open. So now you got to go and bust down these blocks. So the one in career is the most common road opener that I see people do when it comes to jobs and things like that. If you're trying to get a job, now the next one, and I think people don't, again, they don't break road opening down like this. You can have a road opener love. Say you have a bad luck at love. Just nothing is happening. Nothing is happening. You seem to be blocked in love. You don't know what is going on with you. So you want to do a love road opening. Yes, that is something they may call it love attracting love or something like that. Uh, but most time it may be a block in your love life. Okay, maybe a block within you. You don't know what's going on, but you know you're not attracting that partner that you want. So you go back again, do the blockbuster first. See what if it's anything in you. But blockbuster is to prepare you to do the road opening work so you can have the breakthrough. Is this making sense? How to do the blockbuster. They do have blockbuster candles out there. You can make your own blockbuster candle. You would have to get into that's usually what I use. I always use like a blockbuster a candle if I can find one. If not, then I would start looking at the herbs and things like that that would help me move out energy. Okay, but they do have the candle. I typically just use the candle, and then I choose the herbs. I think they got blockbuster oil too. If I'm not mistaken, they got blockbuster conjure oil. Okay, but don't just burn the candle. Okay, pair it with the bath to start cleansing yourself, and pair it with again the psycho spiritual work to start searching yourself to see again because your magic all starts here. Where in here are you blocking it? Because it begins with you. You are the main ingredient in the magic. So if the mind can get on that frequency, if the mind can get on that frequency again and start attracting that, then the work is going to be successful. So again, we have to see where are the blocks in our mind. Do we need to do some shifting in our mind the way we're looking at dating? Okay. The things that we are looking for in a partner. Again, taking the time to sit down, and this might require, again, this is why we talk about shadow work helps do the shift. No one have to shift the mind. I can't tell you how important the mind is in your work because a lot of hoodoo too is psycho spiritual. And if you don't have your mind intact for shifts like this, then you won't be able to shift reality. And that's what needs to happen. The mind needs to be in a flexible way where it can do the shift and you can shift reality. This is all about alignment too. And so I say, don't try to do, I know what you're seeing up here. and they show you a pretty little ritual. But behind it, there's other things that's going on. There's greater context that's going on. That's why you have some people say, I did that, it didn't work. Well, they didn't show you the workings of, you don't understand the science of it. So of course it didn't work for you because you thought you was just supposed to go up there and light that and walk away. No, man, press ham. You was supposed to move the work along. And that's where people kind of get stuck at. I see that's where people get stuck at because there seems to be and I don't, misleading or misrepresentation of the process of magic. That's what's going on. Oh, thank you, Tony T. That's what's going on. There's a misrepresentation of how the science of magic work. Okay, it's just we just don't walk away from things. We put in work. You will too, and you will see hoodoo like that too. You'll start to make progress in hoodoo, and when you really tap into your magic, you will start to see, hey, is this really magic? Is this really magic? It's something I was just not educated on the natural flow of energy, and I was able to tap into it. So again, you have a different perspective. And for me, um, some people they want to look at hoodoo like magic. For me, it's totally different. It's a science. Because if you do X, you do Y, you get Z. It is an application, and most people that practice magic or they've been a practitioner of it, they know it's a sort of it is again a science. That's why we document our findings. We document our divinations. We document what happens after a ritual so we know what works, what doesn't work. It is an application. So once you start applying this metaphysical knowledge and science, because it's the science of the unseen. Okay. So again, getting your mind together and understanding how it works makes the work a lot more easier for you. Okay. So while you doing the blockbuster work, already be doing the internal work. Keep it going on. I don't know if you're gonna do it for I don't know what your ancestors gonna have you do it. You might have to do it 3 days, 7 days, but have something in line to move the work along. Whether you're gonna bathe every day or you're gonna do some internal work every day. But again, this is all energy. You're moving all along, and your intentions is to see a shift. So again, you have to physically make the shift. That's how magic works. Okay, you are the participant in the magic. And so if you want to be see the shifts, you have to internally, physically, as above, so below, you have to again do what our ancestors did, do these rituals and layer it up, and you will see shifts. Okay, it's really just that simple. It's not, it's more than just two, just lighting the candle, walking away. It takes thought, it takes planning and being consistent with the work. That's why you see people do we do work 3, 4, 5, sometimes 7 days. You should see, depending on how long it takes to manifest, depend on how fast you can shift in your mind. What's open, what's clear. So you have again the love road opening work, and then you have what is the other one? Money. Sometimes people money is just blocked and it's just tied up. You just having bad luck with money. You just, something seem to be blocked. Your money just seems to be already just always going away. You don't know what's going on. Then again, you probably want to do a blockbuster before you do any financial road opening work. Because we need to see if we got a poverty mindset. We got to see if we need to shift our relationship with money and see money in a different perspective. Okay. So again, you might have to do a blockbuster. That's why I said do a blockbuster before you doing any other any role opening work. No matter what kind of role opening you do the blockbuster first, because again, it's preparing you to do the shift so you can have a breakthrough That's what the road opener is for. It's for the breakthrough. Okay. The blockbuster is helping you do the work. So when you do the road opening work, you will have the breakthrough. Hello, oh, I don't even want to say Coochie Cat. Hey, Coochie Cat. Okay. So that's what it's there for. The understanding it, and is work behind it. We just don't. Again, I can't say this enough. Doing the mental and spiritual work with what the work is nothing but a symbology of what you're supposed to be doing physically. It is a reminder to spirit. I'm breaking down to that you are again calling on them for assistance. That's really what the work is, and it becomes a spirit working for you. Now on your end, on the physical side, you still have to do the work spiritually and physically to layer the work and move it along. Because the longer you keep your mind and intentions on the work, the faster you'll see the shifts happen. We know it's going to happen. We're just being intentional about everything we do so we can see the shift. Because we're doing X, we're doing Y, and we definitely going to see Z. That's simple. And when you understand the magical application of it, you will start doing you'll start seeing shifts in your work. But many of the times when you're not seeing shifts in your work, beloved, it's because you need to heal in certain areas. And it's important for you to understand it's not your fault. If you can't see the shifts, it's because intergenerational trauma was passed on to you. And most of us, to some degree, have some blocks. It is not our fault. That's why our ancestors gave us hoodoo. Okay. That's why they gave you hoodoo, beloved. So it's not your fault. So don't get in here like you are less than or uh you're you're not good, you're not able to do the work because you got this. Yes, you are able to do the work. That's why you got hoodoo. Okay. Once you actually learn the science of it and know how to use it to heal your life, it start to make sense to you. Okay, so you can do the work. It's not your fault that you were born with that. And you got some of us will have some degrees, blocks to a certain degrees. That's why we got blockbusters. Okay, that's why we got ancestors work. So we can go in and clear out the bloodline and do the healing work. But it's important for you to understand too before you jump in here and do hoodoo that hoodoo is sacred because it was born out of some ugly and it is closed because we were born with intergenerational trauma and it was given to us to help us heal those parts of ourselves. That's why it is closed. Okay, I hope this making sense to some of you. And see, when I break it down to you like that, you understand, yeah, you inherited the gifts and magic of your ancestors, but you also inherited their trauma. And that's the part too, because it has a twofold part. That's the part that you have to heal, and that's the part where all the magic is. It's hid behind the trauma. I know that sounds weird, but once you start learning more about yourself, it's going to make absolutely sense. It's going to make so much sense. You didn't get those wounds for nothing. There was wisdom inside the trauma. You have a level of insight most people on the planet don't have. That's what happened. Okay. So when you understand that, you have more respect for hoodoo, and then you understand why it's closed when you start doing your ancestors' work. And Miss Penny, I make that plain to you when you get over there. When you start, especially if you get in the Know Thyself membership tier, it becomes very plain to you. In the work, you'll see how sacred the work is. You might even catch it in the other memberships, but hey, we break it all the way down in the know thyself. So again, what kind of role opener do you need? Do you need one for finances? Do you need one for love? Do you need one for a job? And then I think the last one and the least talked about when it comes to role opening is the emotional role opener. What is going on with you emotional? Did you suffer some type of trauma? Does it have you still, you know, were you abused emotionally? What's going on with you? Are you trying to make progress emotionally and you're not seeing it happen? You might and you want to see a breakthrough. You want to see success in your emotional and mental well-being and you're working on it. Then you probably want to do a blockbuster, emotional healing, do a white bath, do any type of uncrossing work, you know, and then go in to do a role opener. And during this time, you probably want to do a lot of shadow work, beef up your therapy, a lot of self love work, a lot of self care work during this time before you even do the road opening, emotional road opening work, so you can see a breakthrough emotionally because you have people that's dealing with you know, other energetic patterns, whatever they're trying to break, that you might need an emotional, again, you're not feeling yourself. You're not something is going on with you emotionally. Again, you might need emotional um road opener, healing, a healing road opener where you can have a breakthrough with healing. So again, there are a variety type of road openers and knowing which one that you need is very important. And most important, let's not skip this because, you know, I don't know why we skip it. I don't know why we be skipping over there when we talk about a road opener. But Blockbuster is central. You know, even when I was selling road opener candles and things like that, I would make sure how Chelsea, but I would make sure that I automatically put Blockbuster things in there with the kit. I just automatically put it in there because I know you're gonna need it. You know, I never provided a row opener or suggested a row opener without suggesting a blockbuster first. Because I want you to be successful. So I just automatically tell people that do the blockbuster first, baby. Make sure your road is clear before and you can have a breakthrough before you start doing the road opening because you don't want anything messing it up and then you have to go back and start the whole work over again. Hi, Jericho. Hello, YouTube family. I got people in the chat. Let me, who else is somebody's talking to me? Time Stepping Army said definitely a science evening, Miss Penny. Hello, hello, hello. It's definitely a science. And so the way my mind works, and maybe your mind works like that. I heard somebody saying they just can't do it because they don't understand how it works. And you hear practitioners trying to really explain how magic really works or hoodoo really works. And I can tell you, and I've studied many occult books, uh, many esoteric books, many metaphysical books, uh, just trying to understand the workings and the science of my gifts. And I can absolutely tell you it begins with your mind, and it is the science of the mind, the unseen, that is very real, that is creating this world. Okay, and once you understand the science, the metaphysical science, the natural laws, and the energies, you understand that science, then things will make sense to you. But if you're the type, especially if you're the type, it's got to make sense. You don't understand why you're doing any of this. It probably don't work because you don't understand it. There has to be some level of comprehension for some of us for our magic to work, and some people are like that. We want to look at it as a science. We're interested in the workings and the how to. It's not enough for us to go there and like that and just, you know, again, we want to understand the workings. And if you're that type of person and many of us are, your mind has to be aligned with it. Okay, sometimes it doesn't work because your mind is not aligned with the concepts and the natural energies of the workings. Sometimes it's just that. Okay, and it's not your fault that you don't know. Two, it's being a kind of misrepresented, and I don't think a lot of people understand the science of hoodoo. They're just giving you workings. Okay, I don't know if they can properly relay it to you and break down all the um all the elements of it and why we're doing certain things in it. Okay, and that's important for you to know. And once you understand that, you can go on and do hoodoo from anywhere. You can use the least supplies in doing hoodoo. You can do hoodoo every day and use maybe 3 or 4 herbs. Yet people go out and buy all these herbs or whatever. But you could do successful hoodoo with salt, pepper. Once you understand how it works, you can use anything in your kitchen to get something done. It's not about how many herbs you can go out and buy, how many different color candles you can go out to buy. It is that your mind and your mouth is the most important thing in your work. If you know what you can do, you can work with anything you got. And that's the truth. You can go out and buy all these fancy herbs and all this stuff, but it's not going to do you any good if your mind and your mouth is not aligned with the word. I can't emphasize that to you enough. You could buy any kind of herbs, any kind of candles, and thinking you can work with those. You can work with that. But if you don't know that the herbs are alive, you don't know that the candle is alive, you don't know that every tool that you're using is a spirit, and you are the driver of the results. You know, then I don't know how far you're gonna go. Okay, but if you understand everything about it, you're gonna see results when you really understand and use anything in your kitchen, whether it be it salt, pepper, uh, I don't know what you got, basil, whatever you got in your kitchen, you're gonna be able to use it. Every now and then, you might try to procure a particular curio or herb. But for the most part, I tell people use what you got in your kitchen. Don't go out and buy nothing fancy. Don't do that. Okay, because once you understand what you got in your kitchen and how you can use what you got in your kitchen, you'll be satisfied with what you have unless you need something specific. You're doing something specific. But for the most part, I assure you, you can use everything and anything in your kitchen. I've seen it, I've done it. Our ancestors did the same thing. Matter of fact, that work, the more simpler your work, the better results you have. Okay. It's when you start complicating and uh, making it more, then you won't see the results that you want. But if you follow your ancestors, even your ancestors, when they show you stuff, it's gonna be so simple. You'll be like, that's all, that's all, that's it. That's it. Okay. The magic that your ancestors show you is a lot different from our magic because we want to put glitter on it. We want to do all this fancy stuff. The ancestors be like, no, you just need to do this. That's it. We don't want you doing anything else. We want you to just keep it simple. Okay. And when you follow your ancestors, your magic works. When you again ask your ancestors. When your ancestors lead you, do it works every time. I'm telling you guys, you you're following other people. They can give you structure to the workings that they're doing. But one thing, if I like a work, I would ask my ancestors first. For instance, I had this ritual that I love doing on the water to my ancestors. Um, no, I wanted to do a ritual. Yeah, I have this ritual that I love doing with my ancestors, but I learned it from another young lady where we did a water ritual to the ancestors, and I wanted to do it so very badly with my ancestors. I just felt in my heart that would really help do some shifts in our relationship. And so I talked to my ancestors about it. I said, "Hey, I want to do this ritual with you, and these are the prayers that I want to use, and I want to do it in honor of again sending you healing and loving energy." And I talked to them just like this, even though I wanted to do the ritual, and I felt in my heart that was the right thing to do. I talked to them first, and then one day they told me to get up and go do it. But I had to wait until they told me, "Okay, this is the time to do this ritual. This is the best time for you to do this ritual. Go outside and do it." And I can't emphasize enough doing rituals and that kind of work outside is just, that takes your work up a level when you can work outside. Yeah. Yeah. If you can do any work outside, that just takes your work up another level because you come in contact with all that raw elemental energy all around you. That's why you'll see a lot of people, they do a lot of workings outside. You'll even see that in some of the African tradition religions, they do a lot of work outside. Okay, you instantly start getting psychic feedback when you do work outside. Okay, you really get the sense, really sense that you're being heard. It's just easier. The shifts go easier outside when you're doing rituals outside with your ancestors or any type of spirit work. Okay. And so don't dismiss that. There was a reason why our ancestors was going outside, meeting around trees, having church around trees in the forest and things like that, because those elements are alive. And once they see you participate in magic and then you're in alignment with it, they'll assist you in your workings. Is this making sense to you? Is this too over your head? I hope this making sense to you. And Miss Penny, you ain't thinking Miss Penny just making this up. I am not making this up. Okay. And especially, you get on our platform. Some of our members say, Miss Penny, you're so detailed. I have to be because I don't want you to think I'm making this up. I want you to see it with your own big, beautiful eyes. Okay. That's why I break it down. I show you the book and you can see it for yourself. Miss Penny's, I'm not making this up. Okay, I'm not lying, and I do. I don't know everything, but when I open my mouth, I like to know what I'm talking about. The most essential thing that you're gonna need in your hoodoo, like you've heard me talk about on this platform, your mouth. You'll be shutting your mouth a whole lot. If you're a beginner or you wondering why your work is tiny and it's not moving, how open is when are you opening your mouth? When are you closing your mouth? Your mouth and your mind is the most important thing when you start this journey. Your mind is the first altar in hoodoo. Okay. A lot of people look at hoodoo and they look at, hey, I want hoodoo, want this spell to fix my life. But the first spell and first, if you want to see any shifts, you have to see it in your mind first. You want any changes, you have to see it in your mind. That's just like when somebody come to me for a tarot reading, and I told them what was going on and what shift they would have to make to get a breakthrough. Well, you have some people that it hasn't even been a week yet. They have not made the shift, and then they want to read it, and they want the reading to change, but the reading don't change. You know why the reading don't change? Because your mind didn't change. The reading to change when your mind change. That's just like if your tarot say, hey, you ask your tarot, hey, am I gonna pass this test tomorrow? And the tarot said no. And now you all afraid. No, don't be afraid. Let's go back to ask the tarot too. Again, what do I need to do so I can pass the test? It's not written in stone. So again, the tarot might tell you might need to evaluate some more. You might need to do review some more. Then you can do that. Then again, ask the tarot, if I review this test more or I review it more and study more, will I pass uh, the test after I do this? Then more than likely that the answer is going to change. Why? Because now you're looking at it from another perspective. Now you're opening to doing a shift to change the results. Did that make sense? And sometimes the tarot is not written in stone. Okay. Sometimes you can go get a reading so you can do the shift. Um, so you can get success. That's why divination is important in hoodoo. Okay. Your mind is the most important thing. If you can't do shifts and um you can't shift do the certain shift because that's what the altar is for. The altar, when you go to the altar is about going into an altered state of consciousness, being able to shift your reality. That's what an altar is for. An altar, again, and a lot of people say, I don't want that in my house. I don't want that, I don't want to alter my house. I recommend it. I don't doing hoodoo. I don't see how far you're gonna get without an altar, because again, shifting that energy in your house and being for it to be able to come in and make those changes for you is very beneficial. Okay. So again, your mindset is everything. You cannot outwork your mindset of fear, lack, or bitterness. Every ritual you perform would be limited by the belief system you hold. So again, if there is any limited beliefs, things like that, that is holding you back from doing any shifting, then more than likely there is some blocks, and we need to go back to the beginning and do some shadow work. Imma keep saying that because, what happens is that you get over there with other people and you think that you're gonna absolutely be able to do everything, and then you get over there and you start doing this magic work or whatever, and it's not going the way you expected. But yet these people are showing you that and not telling you, we're really giving you a good foundation of ancestral work. Because when I see people not talking about the ancestors and trying to teach you something, I'm like, that's that's the first mistake. That's the first mistake that you're making. Not doing the ancestors work and not doing the shadow work. That is the first mistake that you are making when you go into this. Because hoodoo is ancestral. Okay. And when you're doing the shadow work, you are refining your mind and you are getting yourself in alignment with these energies so you can be successful at your work. Shadow work teaches you how to shift your mind. It teaches you to look at yourself and know who you truly are. It brings those gifts out. So if you're going practicing magic and you haven't did that part, it makes sense why you having blocks. So if somebody is showing you something and they're not giving you a good foundation of where you can keep progressing, because that's what it do. You're going to keep progressing if you have a good foundation. You're just going to get better and better and better and better and better. And that's what I want to see you to do. I want you to see you get better and better and better and better and better. I want you to see your own magic. That's why for me it's important for you to have your own foundation, because I want you to find your own magic. I don't want to block you from anything. I want you to have all the tools and resources and understand the ins and outs of this. Because when you go to that altar, you know exactly what you're doing, and you can make some stuff shift, and you can light up some stuff. That's why I teach it this way. I don't want you to be. Again, it's sad for us to be confused about how to do things that is rightfully inherited, and we don't know the proper. We don't even know how this spiritual technology or science really works. We don't understand it. And then we're reaching out for these other things outside of us, thinking that we're going to connect with our ancestors when it's all right here in hoodoo. It's still right here. It's never went nowhere. Okay, beloved, it's always been here. And once you learn that and interface with your ancestors, it will come to you. I promise you, it will come to you. Okay, who else said this? Somebody in my chat. You can accept true magic if you hold God in your heart. God is the science of man. Okay, good. Good, Jericho. So again, it is again breaking down the science and seeing what you seeing how you're connected to nature and getting your mind together. Your invisible power teaches us that the imagination is not just fantasy. They too are telling you that your imagination is fantasy. Now, truly, because visualizations is very important in hoodoo. If you can't visualize, you're gonna kind of be limited in your magic too. If you don't believe in, again, fuel your imagination, because that is the spiritual realm. The imagination, again, is the spiritual realm. It's creating this world. So I've talked about that before. And just visualizing it being it done. But this makes it much more easier when you know the science. When you know the science behind hoodoo, it's easy to visualize it already being done. That's why you have some practitioners, they go in there and they do the work and just get done. You know why? Because they know the science of it. Don't have to put much thought into it anymore because they know how it works. And you're sitting over there like, but they understand the again the mechanics and the spiritual science behind it. Occultists, they write books all the time, and the main thing that they're talking about is your mind. Is your mind. And I think the manifestors, you got people going into this manifested thing talking about do this and do that, or be intentional and all of that. That may work for you. Okay? That may work for you. My manifesting abilities manifest differently. That's going to work for some people, but not for everybody. Okay, so you get some people that they're using the power of their mind, their visualization and all that. But if you got any blocks in your mind and you've had any trauma going on, then that may not be easy for you. You might have to go back to the drawing board and do hoodoo. That's where I found myself at. That's where my manifesting power is. Okay, you might have some people that don't have any blocks, they can go through their blocks really easily. And then we use visualization. Same thing. But the most important thing you're going to hear any occultist or magician talks about is the power of your mind. Because again, that's where the reality starts shifting at. Everything is connected to your consciousness. So once you start changing your belief system and start calling into existence, it's got to happen, especially if you've done the work. That's how these unseen energies work around us. Hope this making sense to you. And I know this not popular. That's not how people come here and they break down hoodoo. They break it down from a Christian perspective, saying your psalms, saying your Bible scriptures. But you got some people that don't even use before they had Bible scriptures, our ancestors was doing hoodoo. So how was they doing it? How was they doing hoodoo without a Bible? Because they understood the cosmology of their ancestors. So they were able to tap into that knowledge. It was already in them. They already understood this from an indigenous perspective. Okay? I hope that's making sense to you. All right? They were able to understand that. That's why they was able to do it. Uh, I want to say too, visualization. Like I talked about as far as it's a sort of a spiritual creation. Even when you go into meditation and you begin to visualize, you are going into another realm that you are creating. Are we breaking down all the way down there so you can understand the science of your mind? Okay, you can understand the science of your mind, and even with working and understanding the applications of magic, you're going to understand too how magic works. And if you can feel your magic, I heard somebody say they don't want to do, they didn't feel like doing spell work because they was in a bad mood. Somebody said, do it anyway, do it pissed off, do it mad. A feeling, at least you feeling something, that'll move something. But if you could feel any, again, get Get the feeling put in there. You have that control over your emotions. There's some people are great fillers, and that's how they do their work. They go in there and they feel the work. They're not visualizations. They can feel the difference. They can feel the happiness. They can feel the overjoy. They're able to really tap into their emotions and move the work along. You got some people that can really focus really well. Okay, they can focus on the outcome really well, and again, they see results. But at some point, you're gonna be working with your emotions and your mind, and if your emotions and your mind is off balance, then that's how your work gonna be. It's not gonna be stable, and you want stable work. Even the person I learned up under, you know, was telling us this. Hey, you're gonna have to get yourself together mentally and spiritually. You're gonna have to stay on the right side of the track. You're gonna have to practice emotional sobriety. Because some of us leaking energy in different spots, or we got blocks in different spaces in our energy, and we're just not aware of it. Okay. So again, before you even start your work, you know, already start envisioning it. The outcome, the applications that you're gonna put behind it. Say if you're gonna do some money work, are you gonna do prepare yourself and do a bath 3 days before you do it? When you're gonna do it? Are you gonna do it on a Thursday? Are you gonna wait till a new moon? Again, all these matter. Are you gonna be working with your ancestors, or are you gonna be working with another spirit? All of these things are important. The more you can layer your work and you understand the energies that are supporting you when you do your work or that's available to you, the more likely you're going to have success in your work. Okay? The more likely, and I try to teach hoodoo to people who want to use it as a way of life, because it is a way of life. This is nothing that you pick up and you walk away from. People don't, they don't want their a lot of this is a way of life. I'm gonna say it like that. This is a way of life. Once you get in alignment, you have to fight hard to stay in alignment. Okay, if you can consistently want to, you're gonna be doing this work. This is about staying in alignment. So it takes self care. It's gonna take rituals to keep you in alignment. It's certain things that you're not gonna be able to do when you get over here, because it requires you to stay in alignment. There's a certain way you have to live. There's certain things you can't do. I know what you heard. I know what you're saying. And some people want to get over here just for the power. So really think about why you want to do hoodoo. Why do you want to do it before you even grab it? Do you want it to heal your life, fix your life, or are you just looking for power? Really think about why before you get over here, because I'm telling you, it is a way of life. And when you start healing yourself, the things that you used to do, if you're going to be practicing it and you want to be fluent in this, the, your life will have to do some shifts to stay in alignment with it. That's why you see a lot of us practitioners, there's certain rituals and things we have to be consistent at. Okay, doing the spiritual hygiene, keeping yourself, keeping your energy protected at all times. Okay, keeping your mind clean. And so again, you know, this is a way of life. I just want to make it easy for you. And y'all know I've had this discussion with some of you before. Okay. Like I said, I wasn't gonna keep you long because I know that we have went over a lot of this. Okay, so another little juicy topic that we just had a discussion on in there. that our members just had a chance to review is we talked about altars, altars, which I just touched on altars just a little bit, but they are the most important focal point you can have in your magic. Say you got some funky stuff going on in your house, and it's you don't know what's going on. I always recommend setting up some type of altar and start adorning it with any type of spiritual figure that you deem that's very positive to start shifting the energy in the house. With me, I will instantly start erecting an angelic altar, okay, to start shifting the energy in the house and bringing in positive energy. And the more you pray on it, the more prayer you do on it, the more ashe and strength that you put on your altar. It does you no good if you have an altar and you're not there putting any ashe on there. You're not doing any praying on there. You're not using any words of power on there. Uh, it does you no good to put it up there. You're not going to tend to it, keep it clean, water it, do like I say, do your spirit work on there. Because that is the technology you're gonna need to make shifts in your life and call in these unseen energies. So again, making sure you keep that space clear and making sure that you keep it clean. And also, really, really gauge how you think when you go there. When you go to your altar, how are you feeling? Do you feel a shift happen within your mind and yourself when you go to your altar? Are you instantly feeling like you're coming in contact with a power greater than yourself? What type of energy is coming from your altar? Again, because there's shit, just like it's there for you to do some shifting, you should also be shifting too when you go to that altar, because again, you're going into another realm of consciousness when you go to your altar. You're going into a spiritual mindset. So again, looking at your altar, does it put you in that mind frame? Does it put you in that mindset? Hello, Princess. Hello, everyone. Hello, TikTok family. Hello, YouTube family. Okay. So again, it's important, why do you have the altar? Having a specific altar for certain things is you'll see that's not uncommon in hoodoo. Okay, and I've talked about this before. But again, you're gonna definitely have an ancestors altar. Ancestor altar. Hello, Mac in Florida. You're definitely gonna have an ancestor altar if you're doing any hoodoo work. Definitely off the top. Some people just they don't want an ancestor altar, which I never really understood that, because I know at some point you're gonna need an ancestors altar if they're gonna be helping you in your workings at some point. There will have to be a meeting place at some point for you and your ancestors, especially practicing hoodoo. So I do run into some people that just beginning in here, and they say, "Oh, I don't have an altar. I can't put up an altar." I let them know, "Hey, you can do rituals outside. If you can do an ancestor altar outside, fine. But at some point, you're going to need an altar. You can start off without one, just with libations. But at some point, when you on down the road, you're going to need an ancestors altar. At some point, you're going to need an altar at some point. Period. Okay, and you might find yourself having a variety of altars. Now, one of the altars that is very important, I know that hoodoo practitioners, once they start getting grounded in their work and they're consistent in their workings, most of them automatically set up a money altar. Just set it on up. Just set it on up. Okay. Some people they just have a money altar. They have a specific rituals that they do during a week that keeps their money flowing. Okay, now on that money altar, you can put your vision board up there, whatever you're trying to manifest, you know. Then you have some people that want a different, altar. They may have a dream altar where they put their vision board and all their dreams, they focus on nothing but that. Depending on how your mind works and how you can tap into specific energies that's going to depend on you. Okay, how many altars that you want. But I know if definitely people they do erect money altars and they work from those altars. Then you have some people too, you have some practitioners that are just good in love work. I seen a beautiful a love altar here on TikTok, but they're just great at love work. They're great at relationships, they're great at uh attracting love, and they work with different deities. They might work with Israeli Frida, they might work with Oshun, Aphrodite. They might work with, that Venus energy, just to attract love and bring more love into their client's life. So you have some practitioners that have a love altar, okay, and they do nothing but love and relationships on that altar. That's their thing. Okay, they're good at what they do. And then you have some practitioners that good at court cases. They have a court case where they do nothing but court cases. They might have John Horse on there. They might have what is another? They might have Michael up there. What is another one might have up there? They might have a certain angel or a specific deity they work with for court cases. Okay, they do nothing but court cases from that altar, and they work with different entities or different spirits or energies to get good results. You'll have that. Okay, especially in hoodoo, you might see that very common, and that's very popular in hoodoo for people to come to use hoodoo to resolve court cases. Very, very, very good. I told you about that woman that was on TV that was working at that court case, and she had that dress on inside out. She knew what she was doing. She had that dress on. I think she had it on backwards. She knew exactly what she was doing. See, that's the kind them kind of tricks that our ancestors knew when it come to court cases, and you have people that is excellent in them. But the thing about court cases is details. They have to know the details, and you have to get ahead. Uh, if it's especially you got dates and stuff like that, you have to stay ahead of court cases. But it's some people that are just good in court cases. And then you have some people too that are just good at baneful magic. They know how to get justice. Okay, they know exactly how to get justice. You have some people that will work with again, again. I have to bring up Saint Michael again. They can work with Santa Muerte. That's another one that you can work with. That is, I'm just bringing this up as examples, but they know how to get justice. They're just good at baneful magic. Okay, and those type of people, they know how to approach it. They don't feel one way or another. They look at it totally different, and I think those are the healthiest people to do that type of work, especially if they two-headed. They can do it very easily because it takes a certain type of temperament and a certain type of energy to do that work, especially both works and knowing how to do it. Versus how people doing it now. They're doing it out of their emotions and their wounds. But a real practitioner, when they do that work, again, this is God work. This is justice. They ain't going in with no emotions at all. They're going in there to get justice. Period. Okay, and that's a great way to think about doing your baneful work instead of think because it's when you're doing out of emotion and you're mad, like mad and you're upset, you're doing it more out of revenge than a mindset is I'm just trying to get balance. I'm trying to get justice. Okay, that's it. When you go in with that mindset, you have better results and you come out more clean. But if you're going in there, what they did this to me just out of revenge, again, you're letting another spirit possess you. because in these, again, in these emotions and triggers and stuff, this is how these spirits take control of us. Hi T babes, XX, okay, hi Eddie DDs. So this is how these spirits take control of us. And we're getting ready to do a great book review. That's going to be one of our book reviews that we go over, is the cleansing and understand the hoodoo cleansing. Because I was like, let's start with that because that's the main thing people need to know about when we jump into hoodoo, the cleansing part. So we're definitely going to be doing a book review coming up next month about this, a live stream book review on our platform over there on Patreon. So we're definitely gonna break that down. So really being careful about these emotions, and what I see is people are too, as a spiritualist, the main thing that we have to be responsible for is our own energy, be it emotional or mental. And so when you get out here, and yes, you have every right to be angry. You have every right to feel every range of emotion because those energy centers belong to you. But when you go out here and you start letting those emotions, especially that of anger, in the way you are expressing it, you are giving fuel to these other energies and you are leaving a hole open so they can come through. Like you can be upset. Yeah, you can be upset and say that. Okay? Express that. But again, we want to be very careful on how you express these emotions. It's okay to have them, but again, we cannot let them control us because we are the controller of these energies. And when someone can trigger you that way, where you lose control over it and you can't express it in a way that is healthy, then it becomes a liability rather than an asset. And I see that a lot go on with uh I see that go on a lot. And it's okay. Some of us we have a right to be angry, but less of that spills over if you're doing your work and you start to um become more emotionally mature, because a lot of us, a reason why we're triggered like that is because we're emotionally immature. Some of us are stuck at we have the emotional maturity of a 10 or 15-year-old. And these are adults. That means your inner child is running the show because you can't regulate. You don't have proper emotional regulation. Not your fault, not blaming you. But again, having the awareness and insight to say, hey, this don't look real. Yeah, I have a right to be angry. But and I have a right to express this anger, but is this the right way? Should I be doing it in this way? Okay, again, really watch what's going on when you see people expressing their anger, especially as spiritualists, because it's important for us to keep a cool head. It's important for us to have a cool head. And if you're seeing a lot of that anger and going back and forth with, especially how they expressing themselves. Because I've seen a healthy argument and they're just having a conversation like this, and I have no idea that they're arguing because the conversation is so healthy. Okay, you can have an argument and not be emotionally dysregulated. Yeah, you can have argument and feel the way you feel. Does again when you can do this, again you have the control. You are the master of it. But when you got somebody out here and just again letting their emotions take over and you are attracted to that, then you have to ask yourself too, what inside of you that's attracted to emotional dysregulation? Why are you attracted to anger, pettiness? Again, there's deeper issues going on there. Okay, so we really have to ask ourselves that. And when you see spiritualists like that and they don't have any emotional regulation, I have to ask myself, what is going on here? Do we need to do some deep healing work? 13 Moon said, "You're right. I'm still working on it." It's something. And will you always be able to, again, because when we're doing that, we're working out of impulsive, we're working out of survival. And that's an indication that more healing needs to go, need to be done around that. My rage becomes intense until I crash out. But what's triggering it? What is the trigger for you? I know I was just talking about that the other day. Really yesterday, I was doing some work around that, and I notice when I am overwhelmed or overstimulated, um, overwhelmed or stimulated, I can be very short. I don't know what to do. I just walk away. And again, that's upsetting my daughters because they're taking it as you got an attitude. We don't like when you do that. And so I'm saying, okay, okay, maybe I need to start stating, hey, I'm feeling a little bit overwhelmed. I'm going to step away. I don't want to address this right now because I'm a little over. I don't have the tools or the energy to address this right now. I'm stepping away. And I'm learning it too. Be more vocal about what's going on with you. Okay. And I need to do that in my relationship. But again, it takes time. Are you going to do it perfectly the first time? No, you're probably not. And that's perfectly fine. Nobody's telling you to do it perfect. We're just telling you to practice doing it and you will get better at it. We I can go into more details about this, and we will, especially over there in our first meeting, because we're going to be talking about emotional regulation and how to really slow the self down. So if you're seeing a lot of emotional dysregulation and you're not able to regulate your emotions, again, slow down. I tell everybody, slow down, slow down, slow. Now more than ever, I know what you've been told. Hurry up and get this done. Hurry up. No, slow down. If you slow down, time will work for you. And you're probably trying to get too much done at one time because, again, people are looking at us like machines and not a being. And you need to be being. Okay, I was just like that. I had these list of things that I thought I needed to do. And then I would get upset at myself because I didn't finish the list. And then I would ridicule myself and talk about myself. And I had to stop that once I started healing, again, trying to overachieve, again, working out of survival. And I had to look at that a different way. So what, I didn't get that list, everything in that list done that day. I got something to do tomorrow. I just have something to do tomorrow at my own pace. I get it done. When I start going into a flow and stop letting myself get overwhelmed, time start working for me. Okay. I start falling in divine timing when I stop letting time run me and I start running time. I know that sounds crazy. You think that is crazy, Miss Penny? Yeah. You won't see it until you start getting in alignment. You'll see, and it is a such thing as divine time. It was a reason why you missed that time. You didn't get it done at that time. You were supposed to meet somebody on that specific day to get it done at that day. That's why it didn't happen. So you gonna start looking at things like that. Oh, well, I didn't get it done. I guess it wasn't meant to be. I guess I'll do it tomorrow. And then you go down there tomorrow, you run into the right person at the right time. Everything goes smooth, even better than what you expected. This is how time start working for you when you get out of survival mode. Because when you're in survival mode, you feel like you're working against time. But when you get in the thriving mode and you start again aligning yourself with these natural energies, time start working for you. I promise you, you have all the time. You have the time to rest. When you start putting yourself in the center Making your spiritual life the center of your lifetime start working for you. You get in divine alignment. You don't even worry like that no more. So, well, I didn't get it done. That happened. Well, I guess it'll get it done tomorrow. Overstimulation of useless information, knowing that everything is connected. Yes, it is. It is all connected. And see, right now they got us, a lot of us, we're so rushed to go to work. We're so rushed. Everything, it's like we're machines. Rinse and repeat, rinse and repeat, rinse and repeat. And that changes when when your spiritual life becomes the center of everything, your life begins to shift. But if you got that job in the center of your life gonna be hectic. It's gonna be raggedy. Okay, you're gonna be unhealthy, unkept, exhausted. But if you say, "Hey, no, my spirituality, my spiritual well-being, my mind, body, and spirit, the health and wellness of my mind, body, and spirit comes first. I'm putting that in the center. I need to be God-centered. I work better that way." And you start lining these things up and making them center around your spiritual life, things line up a lot better. Okay? You start getting your life in order. It just works that way. It certainly worked like that for me because I have to tell people I don't work right trying to do it your way. That's not how I function. I know that's how y'all function. Y'all function to put money in the center of everything, to put your job in the center of anything, and then work out of that. No, 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 no. No, everything is coming from me. I am the most important equation in here. So if anybody gonna be put in the center, it's gonna be my spiritual, mental, and physical well-being. I am this God centered. I am in the center. You'll see that again. You'll be in natural alignment when you do that. Things will just start working out in your favor. Will everybody understand this? No, they probably won't understand it, but your life is going to function way better than theirs. Okay, so I kind of break that down when you get over there to start doing a lot of slowing down, a lot of slowing down, a lot of slowing. You need to slow down. Your ancestors been going and going and going from the beginning of time, and then you was born into this stuff, and now they got you going and going and going and going and going. You ain't got time to look at your thoughts or even find out if you are right. Sometimes you don't even know if you are right. And I think a lot of us are not all right, especially with what's going on here today, over there in America's Day. But we ain't had enough time to sit down and comfort ourselves to find out. Hello, Ty James. We ain't had enough time to comfort ourselves and love on ourselves to find out what we really need because we so busy trying to survive where we at. And it's really heartbreaking. It really is. Because at some point, we should be able to sit down and really enjoy life. But here we are still in survival mode trying to survive. And, you get over there, that's one thing about uh, one of my things I'm going to be telling you to slow down, self-love, 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 self-love. Slow down, self-love. It's no because the more you can do this with yourself, the easier it is going to be for you to tap into your magic. Okay? The more you can give yourself self-care, understand yourself, regulate yourself, slowing down, the more you tap into magic. You're not going to tap into it in survival mode because you're going to miss it. But if you can slow down and start looking around you and paying attention to yourself, you will see the magic. But you're not going to see it if you're in survival mode, beloved. Okay, so we got to get you loving on yourself, seeing the beauty in yourself. Because if you see it in yourself, you're going to start to see it all around you. And when you understand more about yourself, the more you're going to understand how your magic works or how you shift your reality. See, they got you disconnected with yourself, got you thinking you got to go to this job. No, no. And you'll start to see, I promise you, you'll start to see when you get in alignment, things will start shifting for you. Okay, but first we got to get you out of survival mode. And that's a lot of where a lot of our blocks come from, be it emotional or mental. It is because we are stuck in a state of survival. Not your fault. Not your fault at all. You inherited this crap. It was passed on to you, so it's not your fault. Okay? It's not your fault that you don't fully understand that because not a lot of us are coming here talking about a spiritual lifestyle and spirituality being a way of life the way I'm discussing it and talking about it right now. So no, and I'm gonna talk about it like that. I don't think it's very important for you to know how to do certain work. I think it's more important for you to understand how to get in alignment with it. Hi Tina Cherry, hi Tammy. I think it's more important for you to understand how to get in alignment with it than anything. You can learn a bunch of uh fancy works and stuff like that, but if you don't know how to take care of yourself, you don't know how to use it to heal you, to heal your life, to shift your life, to make your life better, then what good is it going to do you? You know? And the way our ancestors used it, and when I see hoodoo, I don't see a way I don't use hoodoo in my life every day. I use it every day in some format. Okay? I use this every day. I just, you know, can't really get nothing done without the ancestors. That's basically how it is. So, and when it becomes a way of life, it keeps you in alignment. You don't have to wonder if your work is going to work. You don't have to ask nobody how to do certain work. You already know how to get it done. You already know what to do. You have the resources, you have everything you need to put something together to get the work done. Because just because you see somebody else do some work, I've looked at other people working and said, that don't even make any sense to me. Then I know that's not for me because I don't understand. Just I don't care how beautiful it is. I would look at it and I was like, that just doesn't make sense to me. I couldn't do it that way. Like, I seen a young lady, she was doing some type of water work, and she said she was trying to stop negative energy with this water. And so she dressed this water in all these herbs, and she got different glasses of water, and she was dressing this in all these herbs, and she goes there and she says, hey, well, I've captured all this negative energy in this water that's dressed with herbs. So she was getting ready to do another batch. And so while I was watching it, and she started pouring it down the sink. And I'm thinking to myself, not to say her work was wrong. That's her way. That worked for her. But I don't think that would have worked for me because I wouldn't have poured the water down the sink. I'd have took it outside far away from my house and threw the water away that way. Because I don't want to know if I'm catching negativity in that water. Why would I pour it in my sink still in my house? I no, I for me, psychologically for me, it made more sense for me to dump that water away from the house since there's negativity in it, and that's what I'm trying to get away from my house. Okay, but it made sense to her to just dump it down just dump it down to the sink. You know, that made sense to her. Not to say that it was wrong, but for me, it would have worked the other way. So again, uh, really knowing how your mind works when it comes to your magic, tapping into your magic, because what worked for others may not work for you. And that's just the simple. And I think that part too needs to be discussed instead of us making someone feel incompetent or something is wrong with them because a certain workings didn't work. That's probably not how they understand it. They probably need to understand it from a different perspective. That has a big factor in it as well. It's important for you to be able for in order for it to work, it has to make sense to you. Nobody else. And that's what I like about hoodoo, and that's why it looks different in different places. because what makes sense to them may not make sense to us, but because they're from that area and the way they've learned, it makes sense to them. Okay. You have some people that say don't put salt in ancestors' food, and you have some people say, "Well, my ancestors like salt and they like seasoned food, so I'm not gonna not put season in their food." Is that wrong? No, no. They just got they look at it totally differently. So leaving that option open as well. But again, your work needs to make sense and it needs to have an application. And we're just going through that with tarot cards. Like I've just broken that down with tarot card. We're coming up on our last tarot card workshop. I'm so excited about it because I posted some spreads in there, so we can already be looking at some spreads and start practicing with some of the spreads. But one of the things I think people too with doing tarot cards, and I don't trust people that come here and do not use tarot spreads. That means that energy is scattered everywhere. There is no real intention with you doing the divination. It is not focused. So when I see people come out here and they're doing a tarot reading and it is no spread, then lets me know there's a lot of scattery energy there. And when you first start the tarot, you want to keep it simple. A beginner tarot reader, you can ask a lot of questions with 3 cards. 3 cards, you can ask a variety of questions with 3 cards. It doesn't take 13, 14, 15 cards to get a message. It just doesn't, you guys. Been doing this a long time. What's going to happen is that message is going to get all muddled and scattered up. That's what's going to happen. The more cards you use, the more muddled and scattered that reading is going to get. Okay, because we're working with consciousness, the subconscious mind as well. So it's important that you slow down and be able to read these messages. All right. So when I see people come here and you're particular, and most uh people that read tarot, we have a specific spread that we like doing. We have specific spreads we do depending on the issue that you have going on. And some of us we use the Celtic cross as a more popular spread because we get to see all the energies at play that's going on in your life. So you'll see that tree of life spread be done a lot by a practitioner, because that's going to let us know everything that's kind of going on in your life. What kind of energy surrounding you? What's coming up for you? What things you need to focus on and heal and things like that. Most of us are going to use the tree of life, or that some people call it the Celtic cross, but we're going to use that. Okay. Then we're going to use a different type of spread depending on the problem that you're having. If it's specific, some of us might do a 3 card spread. Some of us might do a spread that solve problems. What down problem solver. We'll just pull out a spread that gets straight to the problem and let us see what's going on. Spreads help again tap us help us tap into that with intentions and get accurate answers. You want to make sure you have some type of spread set up, because a spread again helps us tap in, focus on the attentions and get accurate answers. And so when I see, tarot readers on here just pulling cards, and there is no method to it, that concerns me, because spreads are important. Okay, that gives again, you get more accurate answers and it simplify your reading. You're not going to be confused about what the spirit is saying if you are using a specific spread. Have your answers and things already lined up. Okay. Sometimes I tell my clients, bring your questions with you. Write them down if you need to. Write them down if you need to. More than likely, if you write them down before you come to a tarot card reading, I'm already gonna answer them before you even get them out your mouth. Why? Because you have already been intentions. You set the intentions of what you wanted to know. So by the time you get here and get in front of me, I'm answering all them questions you put on that paper. Why? Because you set the intention. I do. It happens all the time. And I get through reading, I ask the person, "Do you have any questions?" Because I always like asking. Sometimes I go over my reading. My daughter say, "I wish you'd stop doing that. You know, if this just an hour reading, mom, just leave it at that. Stop going over." But that happens, and I'm kind of used to it because I want to make sure the person has clarity on their reading. So again, I would ask, "Do you have any questions?" And most people they'll say, "No, you covered every question I had. Every question I could have thought about, you answered it." Okay, so it's good. And usually, if you have somebody that comes to you, and you will have these people, and I've heard some readers talk about it, um, that they are confused about what type of reading they want. They are all over the place with their reading. They don't even know what to expect out of their reading. They don't even know what questions to ask. And then when you give them the insight, the divine guidance, they don't want that. They don't want that. Okay. Hey, Red. They don't want that. So in those cases, you answer the questions um as best as you can, but then advise them to come back to you after they have did a spiritual bath because you have noticed that their energy is scattered. That's somebody whose energy is out off balance. Ask them to come do a spiritual bath and come back and rebook the reading. Okay, because chances are, they didn't think about what they wanted. You get people like that. Okay, you get people like that, and you get people that you are telling them what's going on with them because they're in deep denial. They want to control the outcome of the reading. They don't want the divine guidance. You get it like that too. And readers, we're not here to tell people what they want to hear. We're here to provide them with insight and divine guidance. Everything they hear is not always going to be good. Our job is to be able to deliver the message with tact, okay, as gentle as possible. But we do not lie, we do not twist the truth. We tell them the truth so the healing can happen, so the shift can happen. We don't tell things people for them to make them, we tell them the truth. We tell them exactly what we see in the cards. After all, we are only the messenger and the interpreter. Okay, we don't control the reading. We only relay the messages. That's all we are. We are the messengers. We do not get in the way of the reading. We put our ego aside and we provide the message. And some messages you're going to have to give when doing tarot reading, you are not going to like. You're not going to like. Okay. And I especially feel this sort of indifference with relationship readings because people act crazy. No one wants to do what they need to do. I think, and some people love doing working with relationships and doing relationship readings. I don't because relationships makes us crazy. We want try to control the other person. We don't want to heal and make the relationship better. We want to try to do something to the other person and try to control them and bend them to our will instead of us making adjustments in ourselves and bringing in more positive energy in there. It's just so crazy. It just gets so messy and I just don't like it because it makes us crazy. It makes some people crazy. They want what they want. They consider love spells. They consider trying to change the person. And my thing with that, if that is going on, I recommend that both parties go in for a reading. and that you both go in there with a mindset that you are going to have to heal and do some shifting. I, I recommend don't be getting a reading behind your husband's back, behind your boyfriend's back. Go in there together so you can get the read. Both of y'all can get a reading, and both of y'all will be open to the shifting. That's why nobody got to be changing nobody, because if you both go in there for a reading, you'll get divine guidance. And hey, you have no choice but both of you, but take the divine guidance and start doing the shifting. I just don't. It just makes it harder when you go in there behind your loved one or your significant other's back and do a reading, and you're expecting them to change, and you don't expect to change. It's just so confusing. Don't do it that way, you guys. Try to get them in there for a reading. If you can't get him in counseling, because I know a lot of men don't like counseling, at least get him in there for a reading. If he can open his mind to that, that would be great. But try not to go behind their back, because what I find is that people be trying to control other people, and they're not even ready to do some changes and shifts in themselves. That's my things with relationship. But healing readings, readings for healing, removing blocks, divine guidance. I love those readings. Do those readings all day long. Love them, love them, love them, love them, love them, love them, love them. Okay? Love that type of work. Love shifting. Love doing healing work. Love to do healing through tarot. I started doing it after a while. I still do it. I still do it after a while. I would start removing blocks, and you would start seeing a lot more clear after a reading. But those relationship readings, because you can help the other person shift. You can help the person that come to get the reading do the shift, but it's not going to do any good if they keep thinking their shift got something to do with controlling another person, and usually that's what's been going on. You can't control another person. You just can't do it. Okay, they have to do the shift on their own, and even with those love spells, those things turn out bad. Again, because that's a form of to trying to control and manipulate somebody. And if that's not your husband, and if that's not your wife, you should not be doing that. It can turn out messy. Okay, somebody can get hurt, and ultimately it can backfire. So I don't recommend any type of, although a lot of people is doing it now, honey. They is doing this stuff, and I'm gonna tell you from my personal experience, baby, don't do it. That's not your husband. That's not your wife. Don't do it. Okay. And even if that is your husband and wife, I still recommend that, again, you do something that is more in alignment with your relationship. Anything to enhance it, to help it grow, to help understanding or anything, something like that. But really understand why we use love spells. And usually, women in those times when we were doing love work, that sort of work is because women did not have any resources. So they, again, tried to secure their relationships. Okay. It was more out of necessity than trying to control. It was more because they didn't have access to resources. Now you have people that's doing love spells that's trying to control another person, and it's not out of necessity, it's out of control. And you're not in alignment with it. If you know you sitting up having an affair and all this stuff, and then you're gonna put you it just is a short term thing. I can give two instances and say that you doing wrong, you're not being faithful in your relationship, but then you want to put a love spell on this man, and then when you then he gets obsessed with you. Okay, you trying to keep your husband because he's catching you now. He get obsessed with you now. He's catching you in what you're doing. He's catching you in what you're doing. That's gonna backfire. But now he's obsessed, and when we become obsessed like that, we become insane. There is no reason going on there. So this person will probably hurt you because, again, they're being controlled with this obsession that you put on them with this love spell, and you knew you were raggedy. You wasn't invested in the relationship like that. You're just trying to keep him in it while you do what you do. Again, it could backfire, especially if it's a temporary. Say this is your boyfriend and you put a love spell on him. You might love him today and be in love with him for 3 or 4 months, and then you're not interested anymore, but he's still interested. And now you can't shake him or her. Now him or her is, busting out the windows in your car, putting your tires on flat. Because you did a love spell. Because you wanted what you wanted. Again, really think about what you're doing when you're doing your work. Really put thought into it, how you want it to manifest. Just because everybody's doing it and that you can do it doesn't mean you should. And magic should be approached that way. Think about what you're really trying to do. Put thought in what you are doing. How is it going to manifest for you? How is it going to show up for you? Okay. And really, the most important thing we could be doing if we're going to be doing any work is doing it on ourselves. Yeah, do it on yourself. Put a spell on you to make you rich. Put a spell on you to make you lovable. Okay. If any magic we're going to be doing, we need to be doing it to ourselves and not to another person. There's other ways around. It's just so many ways to get things done. Um, when it comes to magic, it's not a one size fit all. It's a way to still get the job done without having to jeopardize your integrity or the work. And you'll see that once you start understanding the different workings. And the reason why I don't share specific things with you, which we'll go over books, and you'll see how the ancestors did certain work, and that helps you put things together and gain more insight about hoodoo. But the reason why I don't show any work, because again, magic is not a one size fit all. Just because it worked for me doesn't mean it's going to work for you. I don't know how your ancestors want you to move when it comes to tapping into your magic. It is best done when you are doing it trusting, again, your inner self, because your ancestors going to be working through you, and trusting your ancestors when you do it. Your magic is more powerful that way. Okay. You're more powerful when you put things together. I know you looking at everybody else say, well, they magic look better than mine. Ain't nobody magic looking better than yours. So just stop it. Cut it out. Cut it out. Ain't no magic looking better than yours. Better than your ancestors' magic. Ain't no magic more powerful than your ancestors' magic. They don't know nothing that you can't do. Is we have to get out of idolizing people too, and seeing us as the magician, the divine entity in our life. Get out of idolizing people, because these people, they're following their ancestors. Whatever they learn, I'm sure they did the work. So you can do the same thing here. Nobody's magic is more powerful than yours and your ancestors. Nobody is more powerful than you or better than you when it comes to this. We probably operate differently, but hey, we're standing on the same foundation. Okay? They probably been practicing a lot longer than you, so they have honed down their hoodoo to a science, and you can too. That's why I don't tell you what to do. I want you to see it for yourself. That way I know if you're putting your stuff together by yourself, and you're putting things together, and I think I'm gonna start putting it uh doing a sort of a little pop-up quiz thing in our group. But if you are putting things together yourself, it's better that way. Okay? I know you are, if you are putting things together, I know you're reading the information in there. Hey, the Valley. Hi, Tina Cherry was over here too, and Tammy. I know you're putting things together yourself, because I'm not, again, because all the information is there. There's no reason for you not to be putting your work together. And if you're doing things yourself, I know. If you're putting things together on your own, I know you're reading the information and you are comprehending the word. But a lot of us do not like to read, and Hoodoo, it requires you to, hello Tammy, it's going to take you getting somewhere, sitting down, getting your mind together. See, a lot of us ain't got our mind together. We want somebody to tell us how to do things, and that's another indication that you haven't done the inner work. You're just reaching for power, and you don't want to sit down nowhere and start healing that stuff on the inside of you. It's right there available to you. All the resources, are there. Some of us, we have Google, we have the resources there, but we don't want to study. We want somebody else to transfer our magic to us. And that's why you have a lot of practitioners that won't share their work. Instead of you tapping into your own magic, you want to tap into somebody else's magic. You don't want to do the work. Some of us don't. They don't want to sit down and read. Uh, You don't wanna sit down and comprehend it. It's going to take that to rewire your mind. There's no shortcuts here. You can, they have audio books. You can sit there and listen to an audio book. They have those now. I even have some of those over there. They give some of the practitioners a break over there. I was like, okay, that they have a lot of I'm gonna just put an audio book. If I can find an audio book, I'm gonna provide an audio book so they can walk around and listen to it. If you don't like reading, listen to it. But again, the only way we reprogram our mind, we had to sit down and learn all this dysfunction in these schools and all this stuff. For years we sit there and got indoctrinated in that. It's going to take time to reprogram yourself and put the right information in there, beloved. It's going to take time. Just like we had to sit there and learn all that false lies and all that stuff. We have to sit there and sit there. And I know it ain't fair. That's another level of grease and being pissed off because I was too. Honey, I didn't like it, but I had to sit there and learn that. And one thing about it, once you start learning, you're probably going to pick it up faster than what you think. Yes, have been your patron about 2 or 3 months. The growth in myself has been amazing already. Yes, Tammy, I'm so glad you see that. I'm so glad it's working for you. And it really do work, beloved, when you work it. I'm so glad you shared that, Tammy. Thank you for sharing that. Again, and it works, it's not a magic wand. You actually have to put in the work, but I promise you, with the resources, valuable quality resources uh we have over there, that you will, if you apply the information, you are going to see it. Lots of reading but worth, okay? You don't have to scatter whatever subject that you have going on or whatever you want to study. Chances are we have it over there in details broke down to help you understand. If you don't understand, you can always go to our community chat. You can direct message me and say, Miss Penny, I don't understand this. Can you go over this again? I most certainly will. Not a problem, because that's what I'm there for, to help you understand. Even ask you, what is it that you don't understand? How can I help you understand? Okay, because I'll go over it again. And some of the things that we don't do because we don't understand, and it's okay. Hell, we've been cut off from this for so long, and some of us was doing hoodoo and didn't even know we was doing it because we didn't know it was that. Okay, you'll start to learn that over there too, but it takes time. That's why I tell people there's no way you can do a hoodoo workshop over a weekend. It's just not possible because it's a way of life. There's no way I expect you to go over there and get on this platform and learn everything about hoodoo within 3 or 4 months. I give you a year. About a year of doing studying and getting your mind right, and getting yourself in alignment, you should be more comfortable with your practice. Be gentle with yourself. There is no rush from this. I don't care if you can't do none but 2 or 3 things. Start with that and then build off that. But for you to get comfortable and to be adequate at it, it's going to take you a year or so. And that's okay. It doesn't mean that you uh can't practice hoodoo, you have to wait to practice. You're gonna be practicing along the way for that whole year before you get comfortable with a lot of that. And that's okay. Nobody's expecting, like I tell people, don't try to learn everything over there. Learn what resonates with you. You might have somebody who's good with jars. They don't want to work with candles. They don't want to know nothing about candles. They just want to work with jars and bowls. That's all they love. That's all their ancestors got them doing. That's fine. You don't have to do that. Do what resonates with you, because whatever resonates with you is where your magic is the strongest. Fine, do it that way. You have some people, "Oh, no, I don't wanna work with bottles. I don't wanna work with jars. I wanna do candles, Miss Penny." Well, you have all the information and all the resources over there, how to successfully, work with candles and amplify any workings that you have. It's over there. Nobody's saying you had to learn everything, but I'm definitely gonna have a variety of things over there so you can learn, so you can figure out what works for you and what doesn't. Okay? There is just so many resources, quality resources. uh I don't just, again, we don't just uh post books and give materials there for you to read and say figure it out. No, I go through the book, I break down, do the presentation, we review the book a lot of times with you, let you see what's in the chapters and what you should really be looking at and what's going to be helpful for you. Do recommendations, and then I leave it from there. Just makes it a lot easier for you on your journey. Okay, so I don't like, and then some of the books that we have over there, they're hard reads, especially when they're 100 years or older. And we got some books over there that's 100 years or older over there that we look at. And sometimes, usually, I go in and I break that down, make it easier, so it'll be an easier read for you, so you'll know what you're looking at. Again, breaking things down, giving you a really good history of hoodoo and a very good foundation. But overall, the main thing you're gonna see me push, I'm going to push it because it is shadow work and ancestors work. That's non-negotiable. It's just non-negotiable. I'm not negotiating with you on that. Okay? That you're gonna hear me push that all the time. One of the first thing I'm saying, did you ask ancestors, are you doing the shadow work? Yeah, that's I'm non-negotiable on that. But the other stuff with you learning, that's totally up to you. But I know that ancestors and ancestors work provides a solid foundation. So you'll hear me say that regular over there. A lot of times, probably gonna get sick of me saying it, but I'm gonna say it anyway. Okay. But anything that you want to know, and figuring things out when it comes to learning more hoodoo, a great platform for it. Learn lots of things. Now, another thing that I found that has been helping a lot of people over there is the hoodoo spiritual blueprint. And that is when I take your natal chart and I break it down from a hoodoo perspective. And I recommend all the root work that you should be focused on based on the astrological energies that we're currently under. And that has helped a lot of people, uh, kind of give them a head start and a jump start on their shadow work and the type of root work they should be focusing on. And it's been a few of them. I haven't even posted any of the reviews here or their experience here. But yeah, it's been quite a few people that said, "Hey, this helped me. This helped me. This is just me, and I know exactly what I need to be doing. Thank you, Miss Penny." you know but when you look at your natal chart, you really get to the root of what's going on with you, the core of what's on with you, and it just takes all the guessing work out of your spiritual journey, especially when it comes to hoodoo. Because when I give it back to you, I'm going to give you the ancestors work you should be doing, the gifts that you came here born with, the shadow work. It's just going to come with a whole bunch of information, the root work, the shadow work, the ancestor work, all the gifts and talents that you come here with. Okay. So if you have that natal chart and you saying, what do I do with it? I have this. I know this is going on with me, but I don't know how to use it. Come get it, again, get with me. And if you're interested in Hoodoo, I will show you how to use it. Get you a plan started so you can start getting in alignment with some work, and you kind of know what you need to be looking at when you jump into Hoodoo, so you could take a lot of the guessing out of it. Hey, Juicy. So that's one of the things that's been helping a lot of the practitioners are up there having that chart. I even had somebody that's like, "Hey, read my daughter," and I think I just finished that. Yeah, I just finished that up the other day, so she should be getting her chart soon. Now, if you are looking for just a tarot reading, you just want to know what Miss Penny. I just want to know what's going on right now. What's going on with me. Then again, you can book to still do tarot readings. Those are just $30. And again, you can DM me if you're on TikTok, or you can just send me an email and be specific if you're needing an astrological reading. Let me know that. Just say, Miss Penny, I want the Hoodoo spiritual blueprint. Miss Penny, I just want the tarot reading. Let me know, and I will send you an invoice. We'll set up a time, and I can do your reading. If you're wanting the Hoodoo spiritual blueprint, I'm gonna need your time, date, and place of birth. Okay, I'm gonna need your time because I have to chase people down. I've been having to chase people down with their place of birth. I'm like, I need the place too because I want it to be accurate. I want it to be accurate for you. And so I been fucking find myself chasing people down, emailing them, and then their reading is delayed because I didn't have the information. I like it to be. I'm a stickler in certain things. I'm just like I want it to be boom, 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 so to be together. But I usually have to wait a couple of days, and because people they get the email say, "Oh, I'm so sorry, Miss Penny, I didn't give you the place of birth." I'm like, "Yeah, baby, I can't do it if I ain't got that." I would be definitely be reaching out because that's me. I have mine, but don't know how to use it. Okay, Tammy. Well, you can DM me, and I will show you. You show give you clarity on it. You'll know exactly what to do because we are a star, and again, when we look at our natal chart, that's the soul progression. That's a part of our cosmology. And so when we can look at that and we can see, we look at our north and uh, south node, we're able to see, okay, what I came here to do and what did I come here to heal. I think those are put too, and then looking at our Chiron too. But yeah, it's just very interesting to look at that and get that to you, and it just takes all the guessing work out of what you need to be doing spiritually. You'll be guessing about nothing. You'll already be setting goals and know what you need to do this week, next week, or the next day, or the next moon. Okay, you know what new moon ritual or a full moon ritual that you need to be doing. And I usually post that too. I should be posting that here soon because we have a is it a full moon? A full moon coming up soon. And so I'll probably be posting it here on TikTok to let you know what type of benefits and what type of root work is recommended for this new full moon that's coming up. I definitely post that in our community so people will know, what kind of work, they can focus on, just a recommendation of what they can be focusing on with each new moon or full moon and what kind of energy it's bringing in and the variety of work that you can be focused on. So we definitely post that in there and keep you aware of what's going on energetically when it comes to astrology and those planetary energies. So we definitely talk about that. We definitely keep that. Uh, we keep a schedule of that. So I'm really good at that. Does anybody have any questions when it comes to hoodoo? And I know you've been told a lot of things, and yes, you will learn how to work a variety of things, especially in the conjure membership. That membership, you get to learn things beyond the root work. We really start to work with spirits when we go into conjure. So that is for someone who is and we're getting ready to go dive into too. That is really for someone who is comfortable working with the spiritual realm, okay, who has did the root work. They're comfortable with working with spirits. They have been in contact with spirits, and now they are going on to work with other spirits. And usually in conjure, that you will be making pacts with spirits. That's what a conjurer is, a person who can know how to successfully uh, make agreements with spirits. Did you see that a lot? Okay. Some of these spirits you have to pay, and that's not uncommon because you know your ancestors don't do nothing for free. You have to put offers and stuff out there. But with what we learn in conjure is we come in contact again with a different variety of spirits that we teach you how to work with. Okay, and some of them you have to pay them or make pacts with them depending on what you got going on. This is real conjure. So if you ready for that, you can jump over there in that tier. So we talk about again, we go into more ceremony, invocations, uh, working again directly with spirits. And so that's directly for that. Again, that conjure membership, we talk about things like that, and we're just getting deeper and deeper with that because we're going to jump into doing some more conjure, talking about Lilith, working with Lilith. And again, you usually over there in the conjure, you usually get up. I usually try to give you a whole workbook, a whole guide on trying to work with different spirits, what they like, what they don't like, what to set out on your table, what best times to work with them. So usually I try to give you a manual to work with if you are interested in working with other spirits. And I do that too. We do that too when it comes to working with saints and angels. You might get a manual just with working with that angel. Okay. So you'll know what they like, what they don't like, what to set out for them to attract them to your altar. This is hoodoo, you guys. Okay, we do conjure over here. We work with roots, we work with saints, we work with angels, we work with ancestors. Okay, that is the basic foundation of root work. Now, when you get into conjure, it goes outside of that because now you get to work with other spiritual systems, other spirits and spiritual systems, and learning a method on how to work with them. That's more of the conjure part. Okay. And I know that people got you thinking it's the same. No, it's a little different. Okay. Root work and conjure is a little different. You got some people that some are who people in hoodoo, they just work specifically with spirits. They got things done with spirits. Not all of them use the Bible. Okay. That's why you'll see a lot of different variety of spiritual systems in hoodoo. And I think I'm going to touch on Hindu too, because you will see some Hindu pathanons in hoodoo as well. Yeah, there's Hindu in there. So we're probably going to be talking about that going forward within the next month or so. But we got so much work going on there. We have the Know Thyself there. We're having our first meeting, our first workshop is going to be I think it's on the 6th or 7th of September. So we're having our first workshop. Then we have our book review that's coming up next month. I think it's going to be on the 14th. We have our first live stream book review. So there's going to be a lot of workshops and things going on over there. And if that's something that you're interested in, a tight knit community where we're learning, I'm asking you, what do you need? What do you want? And we can review it. If that's something that you're looking for, uh, We definitely have a community like that. And we don't just learn from one way. We leave it open for you to actually learn hoodoo, the science of hoodoo on your own. Okay. Anybody has any questions? I see a lot of people here on my YouTube live stream. I see a lot of my YouTube family is in this stream, honey. YouTube is showing up. Okay. So if you have any questions, um, ask them now. And my goal too is to see more grounded practitioners, more grounded practitioners to have that self mastery about them. So when you come here and speak, um, when you come here to express yourself, you're doing it in a way that attracts people to you in a positive light. Okay. Anyone? No questions? No nothing? No nothing. We covered a lot of things. We'll be coming back here. It'll probably be a week or so before I come back here because of all the workshops and things that we have going on over there. I had one member say, Miss Penny, because I do. I work hard over there, you guys. I do. I work hard. And she said, Miss Penny, you shouldn't be doing this all by yourself. You know, have you thought about doing this and we can facilitate and do that? I said, yes, ma'am. I absolutely have. We will have people facilitating the Know Thyself meeting. There will be people in there. So if you're in the Know Thyself membership, you will be facilitating meetings. Why? Because it promotes self-esteem, it promotes leadership, okay, and it helps you. It it advances your healing. Okay, so you will be asked over there, be requested to run again, lead a meeting, because this is going to help you. This is how you get well. So you will be leading a healing circle. I tell you, by the time you get done, you get over there, you're gonna be the amount of skills and the growth that you're gonna make is gonna really knock your socks off. Okay, but you will be facilitating a meeting and leading a meeting, and some of you will be leading a book review. I'll be putting you up there on the screen and say, "Hey, you lead this." Okay, because again we learn from each other and giving you the opportunity again to work on yourself, whether it's self-esteem, learning leadership abilities and things like that. Again, that's what that place is for. It's a community because I we want to all see each other grow, and the goal is for you to leave there being a practitioner, not just healing yourself but going on healing your family and healing your community, and you'll gain all the skills there. That's why we have all these workshops and things going on. So not only in our healing circle and in Know Thyself, you'll be facilitating meetings, but you're going to see that go on too when we do book reviews. I might call you up there and say, okay, you lead this book review. Okay. Get your insights on it. Again, just building your self esteem, building your leadership abilities, and enhancing and advancing the work that you are doing in Hoodoo. That's all that's going to do, make you better. Okay. So, again, this is, you really get a chance. I'm just so excited about all the things that's going on over there and all the work we're getting ready to do. And so if you can get over there and be a part of that, that would be great. Would love to have you. Love to see what you contribute there because again, I'm going to give you the opportunity to contribute. Okay, because it's our community. It's not just my community; it's our community, and you will certainly be given opportunities to contribute. Okay, I think we got a if I'm not mistaken, I think we got a therapist over there, and I really need to get my hands on her and see how, I can work with her, especially when it comes to this intergenerational trauma. Because if I'm not mistaken, I think we got a therapist over there in our community, and so I really need to get with her and see would she like to do any workshops over there, anything she would like to contribute. Okay, you guys, I'm not getting any feedback, no questions here. I'll be coming here shortly and sharing what we have going on because we have some other discussions we have going on over there, and I'm sure you want to know about some of those topics. But I cannot release those topics before I have shared them with our community. Now, after I share those topics with our community, I'll come here and share them with you generally. Not you won't probably get as much detail and disclosure as we do in our community, but I definitely come here and share some of the things that we're learning over there and give you general details that help you on your spiritual journey. Okay. All right, TikTok family, thank you for being here. I hope you be here for our next live stream, which will probably have some really good, juicy information that you're going to enjoy. Okay, YouTube family, is there anything that you want to add here before I leave? And like I said, I will be coming back probably within a week or so because we have so many topics and things that we're covering over there. I'm still doing presentations today. I think I got like two or three presentations to work on for the group. So we're a lot of information, but I've shared a lot with you here on this platform. So y'all can go through these YouTube videos and y'all see I've shared a lot. Sometimes I repeated some things. Okay. All right. Well, I've seen no feedback here. You know what to do if you need me. Light love, namaste, ashe, love one. Happy who doing, you guys.